And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now. Humongous news today. In, of all places, Greg, do you care to guess where we're talking about?
Let me take a guess. And
wait, hold on. It goes by a moniker Commonwealth. It's in the Mid-Atlantic. It likes to say it's in the South, but it's really not. It is a U.S. state, and it is run by tyrant Democrats. Do you care to throw a guess out? I'll give you 3 if you need them. What could it be?
I wish I had some game show music right now.
Ding, 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 ding. Wrong on that count. We have 2 more guesses left.
I'm going to...
Ding, 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 ding. Wrong on that one. You only have 1 guess left. What could it possibly be?
Could it possibly be Virginia for $500?
It is Virginia for $500, Alex, but we don't have the money. We'll write you a check. I owe you. Ta-da, Greg. Yes. So let me just throw this out there before we go to our guests. And we'll get this out of the way first, too, ladies and gentlemen. You can watch the program on facebook.com/armedamericanadio. Go ahead and do your spew. I'll tell you what happened this morning.
Yeah, the internet doesn't like you too much over there as well. In other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. We're on X. Just search for @AAR Mark. You can head over to the website, armedamericanradio.org or .com. Hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, if you'd like to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, that'll do it. I just stood up and showed my Abe Lincoln rocking the world with what looks like a Gibson Les Paul with a Fender headstock. I can't figure that out. I thought they'd know better than that. But anyway, so I was on 97.1 FM this morning for 2A Tuesday with our good friend Mark Cox in the mornings, Midwest's biggest drive show. And, of course, Greg, I'll give you 1 guess on what the main topic is everybody wanted to talk about today. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going to say possibly Virginia.
Possibly Virginia. So I was up literally from 2:30 this morning. I've had enough coffee today. I need as much coffee I've had today as much as I need a bullet wound. But I was mining for story. Could not find out what had happened on specific bills. And it wasn't until about 3 minutes before I went on air that Cam Edwards and Jared Yanis reached out to me. Jared was still searching and mining. And Cam had just put a story up. He said, I know you're going on 97.1. It just went live literally 2 minutes beforehand. The governor, do you know what she did, Greg?
I didn't see everything. I did see something about sending the assault weapons ban back to the House, I believe, with amendments.
She added amendments to the bill. The specifics of that, we're still waiting for the exact specific details because she also asked for amendments to other gun bills. So we still can't get all of the information that we need. But what we can tell you is the amendments that the governor is pushing for on the assault weapons bill make the bill even worse than it already was. And we'll explain that later in the program. So a lot going on out there today in Virginia world, which means your world if you're a gun owner, because this is what they have in store for you. Obviously, the entire 2A world and the DOJ are paying very, very careful attention as to what's going on in the state of Virginia. And I'll tell you why she did what she did in just a little bit. Let's go over to Lee, the gun writer Williams. Lee Williams, the gun writer, the investigative journalist over at the Second Amendment Foundation. Lee, it's a pleasure. How you doing, my brother?
Good, brother. Good to be with you.
So let's just pick up from there. We've got you for the remainder of this segment and next segment. Are you shocked, and do you have any additional news for us as a source of content that I might not be aware of in Virginia? Can you tell us what you know?
I will say this. Her changes were not posted online prior to publication.
That's right.
I think all of this has to do with the fact that our president had warned her that if she tried to mess with guns, late last week he told her, you want to mess with guns, and we're going to sue you. I think that had to have entered her small mind, don't you think?
Well, a really good conversation to have because it does bear some discussion. If that's the case, then I I would have to say that would mean that she is exhibiting some type of fear of the DOJ action against her, and I don't know that that's true. I don't think she cares as a Democrat, to be honest with you. I really don't think she gives a FCC unfriendly word for dung about what Harmeet Dillon thinks. In fact, of the predictions that we made on this, and we've been all over the board here because she's had 4 options in front of her. Sign the bills last night by midnight, they go into law. Don't sign the bills by midnight, they go into law on July 1st. Propose amendments or veto. And I believe yesterday my prediction, Greg, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe my prediction was that she would likely do the amendments if I was a betting man, a gambling man, and was asked that in Vegas, but it would be more realistic to assume that she would probably just let them go into law. Greg, isn't that where I was yesterday on that? Because it was those 2. I might have them reversed, and I didn't have a chance to go back and listen, but it was one of those 2.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that's how you were. That's your.
That's
position.
how it was couched, right? Okay.
Yep.
Well, she did offer the amendments. She has signed some other gun bills, but again, the specifics are not out there, Lee. They haven't been published yet.
I know, that's crazy.
Well, okay,
the only specific I'm hearing is that the only specific I'm hearing is that she wanted something to do with a pistol grip on a shotgun and to make that legal. That's the only thing I've heard, and that hasn't been confirmed.
You're right about that, and I think
ahead.
I can confirm that, okay? Yay, woo-hoo. That's nothing. All right, that's cosmetic nonsense. It's cosmetic garbage and nonsense, but it really puts a perspective on where their mindset is. If it looks scary, it's going to be banned, okay? Because does a pistol grip change anything about the ballistics of the weapon?
No.
Of course not. So, having said that, let's go back to the fear factor here. I do not believe she fears the DOJ. I did make the prediction yesterday, Greg, that, and now I remember exactly what I was saying, that she would likely sign these bills was my prediction if I was a gambling man, just because she hates Trump and the DOJ, and she would do it to stick it in their face. And that's what she didn't do that. She did go the amendment route. Now, apparently, what's leaked so far is the 15-round deal now applying on all firearms that can take a detachable magazine with 15 or more rounds. That includes, ladies and gentlemen, your Sig Sauer, that includes your Glock, that includes any, I'm not going to say large, standard capacity, full-size, full-framed, semi-automatic firearm. They virtually all come configured for that. That's what we know to this point. Now, that's coming from earlier today from the Reload and our good friend Stephen Gutowski over there. And that's why I said it makes it worse. Her proposing, and from what we understand, that's in there. That was one of the amendments, but we don't know what the rest of them are. I can't imagine they're any good if that's one of them, Lee.
Well, if I was a senior official at the Department of Justice, I would be already typing up the lawsuit complaint.
I'm going to guess that lawsuit's already typed up. I'm going to guess that. Now, I was talking with Jared at great length this morning about this, as well as Cam Edwards. And here's the problem. I would love to see Harmeet Dillon file suit immediately, but guys, she can't, because nothing's law yet. Now, she could go after. See, we've got to wait until July 1st. Here's why. I asked Phil Van Cleve to be on the show today, but as you can imagine, ladies and gentlemen, he is extremely busy at Virginia Citizens Defense League today, trying to wrap their heads around what they're going to do with this smack in the face from the Democrats in Virginia. Lee, when we come back, I'm going to carry on the conversation with you. It's fascinating. But there are options available. I don't want to paint this dreadful picture yet, because lawsuits will no doubt be flying. And what will the results of those lawsuits be? I'll tell you when we come back what I think the first thing that's going to happen, and that the word there is they're going to seek an injunction. And I'll tell you why that might not be a good thing. that might not be a good thing. It's think of it as you've been sentenced to prison. You know you're going to lose on appeal, and your appeal is going to take another year. Do you want to delay the sentence, or do you just want to get the damn thing underway so we can move forward? That's where we'll go when we come back. That's an analogy. We'll be right back. Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, guys, coming up Thursday, I'll be heading out to Houston for the NRA convention, and I do have some really fun news for you. Looks like we're set up to interview Harmeet Dillon in person, and the acting AG, Todd Blanchett, as well, Greg, at NRA. So that will be an awful lot of fun. You're going to get a real treat for that. I've been looking forward to having Harmeet on the program for the longest time. So be able to have her face-to-face will be wonderful. Hopefully, as I was informed by my handlers over there at the National Rifle Association, they're setting up the interviews, that they are very interested in wanting to get on the program. So keep your fingers crossed, and that will occur likely on Friday. And Greg, hopefully we have that connection so that we can go live. If not, we'll just have it taped for you about an hour prior to. That'll still work, right, Greg?
I believe so.
That'll work, yeah. So I'm sure we'll be talking with both of them, hopefully. So keep your fingers crossed. But you can also, in the meantime, join the National Rifle Association at nra.org/AAR, nra.org/AAR, and help us out, because we need your help. If what we're talking about here isn't enough to get you off your duff, I don't know what is, because it's bad out there and it's about to get worse. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back in, brother.
Thanks. It's good to be here. You know, I'm looking over the statement, the press release they made, even though they didn't release the specifics of what the governor was going to do to this bill. And it says, it just always makes me crazy. Yeah. They talk about they want to give law enforcement more clarity on what's going to happen, and then as well as to protect the use of certain semi-automatic shotguns used for hunting. Mm-hmm. I can't find hunting anywhere in the Second Amendment.
No,
and this always bugs me when they talk about hunting.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was perusing some of this stuff earlier before doing the 97.1 FM show with Mark this morning, some of the responses, well, that should keep the FUDs happy. That's what we need. We need to keep the FUDs happy.
Yeah.
You know, guys, let me give you two things here. First off, when I was heading to the break, again, this is coming out in real time as we're getting information in real time on Virginia today, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got pages up. If something pops, we'll be the first ones to give it to you instantly when the alerts go off, if that happens. But the lawsuits will be flying, and I believe the first thing that will happen will be to seek an injunction against implementation of any of these bills, and that will likely be asked. We'll talk with Mark Smith about this as well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure I'll see him in Houston also and mic him up. But it will be to seek an injunction while the court battle plays out. Now, Virginia resides in the Fourth Circuit, Lee. And any injunction, even if it's granted by a lower court, is going to be appealed. And the Fourth Circuit is not going to be friendly.
Absolutely.
Remember, they have already upheld Maryland's assault weapons ban as constitutional, okay? So I'm not sure that that's really a good idea. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm talking just pure strategy here, all right? When the DOJ has made the threats that they've made, I don't want an injunction. I don't want something. I want that bill in effect, and I want to start this process today. I want the DOJ up their patooties from day one. Isn't that what we want to see, Lee? We don't want to delay this any longer. You want to play pool? Let's go.
I want to see on a complaint, the United States of America versus Governor Abigail Spanberger. That's what I want to see. That would get her attention.
I don't know that it would. It doesn't matter to her. It's taxpayer money. Nothing's coming out of her pocket. It's essentially qualified immunity. Why does she care? Now, there's a reason. Let's talk about why didn't she just sign those bills? As you mentioned at the outset, yeah, it could very well be that there's a fear of the DOJ. I doubt that very seriously coming from that tyrant. I don't think that matters. In fact, I think that emboldens her, frankly, which is why I'm a little bit surprised that she didn't sign it in the face of that. But there's more to it than that. You have the gerrymandering vote coming up next week in Virginia, and Republicans are coming out of the woodwork. Now, the question can be asked, where were they in November that put them in the position that they're in right now today in the Commonwealth of Virginia? Wouldn't it be nice if they were that angry back in November? Maybe they were. I mean, the possibility, maybe there's just more of them than there are of us. That could be the case. I doubt that in Virginia. We've seen these elections ebb and flow for years in Virginia. So I have to believe that just too many of us did not get out to vote. So the governor here, the logical explanation here, the logical conclusion to draw is that the governor is playing politics right now in order to give herself plausible deniability so she can move that monstrous unconstitutional gerrymandering nonsense, and she's holding your Second Amendment rights hostage in the process so that she can do this first. I have to believe, Lee, that's the conclusion that I draw when I look at this objectively and step out of the bubble. The politics here are disgusting. But
they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible.
Would you agree with that? Or, I mean, could there be something else? Give us your thoughts.
No, I wish. I would love to have seen this. God, I agree. I think I don't know her. I've never followed her, but I hope that the NRA can make a case out of this and humiliate her. Her predecessor would have vetoed it. He already vetoed it once. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, she's apparently following what Paulus did.
The best case scenario is our guys in Virginia, our guys and gals in Virginia have to put up with this for a couple of years before the law is eventually finalized. That's still huge. Before the law is corrected, I should say. That's still huge. It's a massive imposition on them.
Yeah, let's give
God forbid anybody actually gets charged with this.
Let's give some numbers on this, too. Let me go over to bearingarms.com because there have been some updates. Virginia lawmakers will reconvene on April 22 to debate, approve, or reject Abigail Spanberger's proposed amendments to dozens of pieces of legislation, including multiple gun control bills. So she has made potential amendment changes or requested changes or amendments to these bills, multiple gun control bills. Sadly, and maddeningly so, we don't have the specifics on that yet. And as Cam points out, as you did as well, some of the governor's amendments have not yet been made available for public scrutiny, but her recommended changes to the ban on assault firearms and large capacity magazines has been released, and it looks like that Spanberger is trying to make the gun ban even broader than what anti-gun legislators already came up with. Here's from Stephen Gutowski. Whoa, looks like there's a small language change that actually makes any semi-auto that has a magazine capable of holding more than 15 rounds an assault firearm. This is actually a massive expansion of the definition. It appears to override the later definitions in the bill. Nothing good's coming of this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the only thing that I could suggest might be good about this would be the angst and what it might do in the face of Heller and Bruin, because it's applicable to handguns as well, which could lead to an injunction. And my God, hopefully the Supreme Court stepping in and saying, you know what, high time we take blank case that is before us today on assault weapons, Lee. It's got to happen.
An assault weapon case. It has to happen. Hopefully this is what they saw this coming. Hopefully this is what they wanted.
Yes.
Hopefully they can make a hell of a deal.
Lee, I apologize. We didn't get to everything we wanted to get with you today, but I appreciate you being here. I'll see. We'll have you jump in latter part of the week so we can talk about some more fun stuff. That's Lee the Gunwriter Williams. Check him out at saf.org, armedamericannews.org or .com as well. Thank you, Lee. We love you. You're a brother for a reason. We'll be back with Ryan Petty. Welcome back to the show indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. This is a Patriot Mobile activated phone. You can say hello to it if you come to the National Rifle Association meetings. You say, is that the phone you hold up? That's the one. It will be there. And Thursday, Friday, well, for all intents and purposes, unless I see you at the hotel, Friday, Saturday, all day, both days doing interviews. Will be extremely busy, but we want you to stop by booth 3351. You'll find us over at Voices of the 2A. I believe we're the only top 100 show there. So come say hello, shake my paw, and I'm going to mic 1, 2, maybe even 3 of you up, depending on what the schedule looks like. And the schedule won't be all mine because there are other people there who have a lot of time demands on them, and we'll accommodate them and give them top priority as much as we have to. So please make sure to stop by, and Patriot Mobile will be there. Make sure to go over there, talk to them about everything they have available to you at Patriot Mobile. And if you want to do that, or you're not going to be at the NRA, you can't talk to them personally, you'll hear them on the radio. We'll be miking them up as well. And you can just simply visit patriotmobile.com/AAR, patriotmobile.com/AAR. And make sure to visit them and all of our great partners, including Bud's Gun Shop. Make sure to visit Bud's Gun Shop. They have everything you need and want, and you want and need everything they have. It's a match made in heaven. budsgunshop.com, budsgunshop.com. Greg in Dallas, Texas, as we await Ryan Petty to jump in, we're communicating back and forth here. He's going to be coming in on camera and on the studio lines here in just a moment. I kind of want to talk with you a little bit about what you've heard so far regarding Virginia, because you've been neck deep in these conversations with us for years. And we have been pondering not just what was going to happen while we're on air together, but we've talked about these things off air as well. Are you shocked by anything at this stage from what you heard in the first 2 segments of the show regarding Spanberger in Virginia?
No, Spanberger was the idiot during COVID that was sitting in her Congress for the Virginia State Congress with basically a balloon bubble over her head during COVID. So I'm not surprised that she's putting forth idiotic stuff, knowing, well, I don't want to say knowingly that these will end up in the Supreme Court, quite possibly. I think if that is the case, then she's just looking to use up all the funds that any kind of group like SAF may have defending gun rights in another frivolous case, that knowing that it will end up in the Supreme Court, and they just might lose, but it's the ride is the punishment, not the end result here. And I'm not surprised.
That. The ride is the punishment, not the end result.
Yeah, that's what they did to Trump.
Take a deeper dive on that. What do you mean by that? In what context are you referring?
Well, the ride is being the punishment, as in you expending all the funds that they can within Virginia in order to have a victory in Virginia in their court system. And then what they do is she will use state funds, which are taxpayer funds, to then file for appeal into the Supreme Court or to the upper courts, which will eventually lead her to the Supreme Court. And all of that costs a lot of money to file an appeal. I am shocked at the amount of money it takes. And so that is going to be just more funds to defend against the Second Amendment and the encroachments that these states and these liberal idiot governors are putting out in law and passing. My biggest concern is, and no one has mentioned it, is why don't we audit Virginia's election that put her into office? Yeah. Because I quite honestly don't believe that she was rightfully elected. Like in a lot of states, we have these governors, especially ones that check all the boxes that Abigail Spanberger checks, like we do with Katie Hobbs, and like we have with Kathy Hochul, and like we have with maybe a few other governors out there that are just tyrants. And they're just passing along all of these bills that most likely they weren't smart enough to come up with. They were just handed to and said, hey, this is what's you're going to introduce into your legislature, and this is what you are going to force the gun groups to fight. And we're going to, like any communist, they're going to put this out so that they know it's going to cost you. There's a cost to play the game, and how much can the supporters of the Second Amendment donate in order to defeat these cases in court all the way up to the Supreme Court, which again is not a very cheap ride. And that's the punishment. And it's, hey, actively defend and fight for your rights through your pocketbooks, as if we're not taxing you enough as it is. and maybe we win, and then maybe your rights are infringed for however long. I mean, how long has it been since the Schumer rule was put into effect? 1992, was that 30 years? So this rule may end up in law in that state for 30 years before it's overturned.
Yeah, first of all, it's not her money. We've got Ryan Petty on the line with us. Greg on Opal, you want to check audio on that real quick?
I see him.
Okay.
Give me a sec.
Ryan, let's bring you in here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
And you sound wonderful. Sounds like you're sitting right next to me in the room. That's always frightening. Okay, so
Opal always sounds good.
You've been listening to the tail end of that part of the conversation. We've, of course, been talking about Virginia. You know that. You and I have been texting back and forth, as you and I have also with the group in the roundtable, about this debacle blank storm in the state of Virginia. Are you shocked by how the governor handled this to this point so far with everything that we know, which is not a lot, other than she's asked for amendments? We don't have any clarity yet on what those are, but it was not just the assault weapons ban bill. It was there was many other gun bills as well. And if you have any additional details, I'd love to hear them.
I think what I saw earlier today, there was a series of amendments that she had proposed. Each of the bills, the restoration of universal background checks, which is just hilarious. Ban future sales of assault weapons, and they require safe storage of firearms, and they developing a gun self buyback program. I think those were the four bills that I saw that she weighed in on.
Yeah.
In almost every case, she made the bills worse than they were, if you could believe that. I think the one exception might be the safe storage of firearms. If that's going to pass anyway, I think she was allowing for a gun lock to be used. But again, this is so frustrating. And I've got a daughter, Mark, that lives in Virginia now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know that.
I do.
And I'd like her to be able to protect herself. And she's now at risk living in the state of Virginia more than she was previously if these laws pass, because she's going to second guess herself as to whether or not she could use a firearm to protect herself, even within her own home. And is it legal? And should she, she's already asking these questions. Dad, is the firearm that I have actually still legal?
Yeah, tell us how old your daughter is.
I don't want to disclose. A gentleman never reveals the age of.
Oh dear God!
Let's just say she's in her mid-20s.
She's in her mid-20s. She's about my daughter's age, which is why I wanted to bring that up, because that's something that my daughter does not have to face.
That's right.
Here in the state of Georgia, she doesn't even have to think about these things, and it is atrocious that a governor would put the onus on a law-abiding citizen, because how many criminals are worried about this? Now, look. Harmeet Dillon made it very clear, and she did point to two bills specifically. One is that lock them up, and the other, of course, was the assault weapons ban bill that she mentioned specifically in her threatening letter to Spanberger. Now, short of Spanberger, my guess was, look, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to tell you now that she's going to sign that bill just to spite the DOJ because of her hatred for Donald Trump. And the fact, who are you to threaten me, Miss CIA Spanberger, okay? She didn't. But did she, in fact, do something even worse based on what you just said regarding that bill by trying to make it even worse in the face of a threat from the DOJ when she knows the way it was written now is going to draw the ire of the DOJ and the civil rights? So let's just go ahead and stick it in their face and add this to it, too, as a throat punch. There's that. Ryan, we're getting ready to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. I wish we had more time today. I really, truly do. Boy, oh, boy. Virginia's a mess, ladies and gentlemen. It really, truly is. And you don't live in Virginia? That's great. Count your blessings right now. But this is what they want for you. That's why we're talking about this as much as we are. This is huge news in the 2A world right now today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be on it for a long time. Ryan Petty with us one more segment. Don't go away. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is my attorneys on retainer card. This is a lawyer in my pocket, and it doesn't weigh near as much as an attorney because it fits in my wallet. I see Ryan Petty chuckling right now. Ryan, you have these, don't you? Don't you have this card?
I absolutely do, and so does each member of my family.
I see you reaching behind you. I love being able to see you on radio. Are you reaching into the wallet to grab that? Oh, he was on the other side.
I'll get it right now.
He's going to pull it up just for kicks because we can. Ladies and gentlemen, both Ryan and I are walking around with lawyers in our pockets. That's what this card represents. And if, God forbid, we ever have to use our firearms there's his card up there right now. If he or I have to use, or any member of his family or mine, hopefully yours as well at this stage of the game, you figured it out, ever has to use the firearm that you carry every day for self-defense, this is your lawyer right here. And it tells you everything you need to do right here. Don't believe all the crap you've read on the internet over the years. Ain't none of it true. This is true. And this tells you what you need to do, who to call, what to say, and what to do afterwards. And guess what? Your lawyers will be there on the scene within minutes of you making that call if you have this card. And if you use the attorneysonretainer.us code, you're going to save $25 on the sign up, just like Ryan and I did and all of our family members, and it's only $37 a month. Please take advantage of this. We offer it for a reason. We'll be talking to some of the attorneys latter part of this week, on Friday actually, possibly the Sunday Monstercast, we'll see, one of those 2 days, but their 3 attorneys will be there, and we will be talking with them face to face, and you'll hear even more about this amazing organization and the Attorneys for Freedom law firm. They're the real deal. attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. All of our great partners, POG Auctions, don't forget POG, POGauctions.com. Support them for supporting this program. And we have some other sponsors, some new sponsors coming up here in the very near future that we'll be telling you about also. So take advantage of all of those great partners that we offer. Ryan, welcome back, brother. Did the governor make things worse intentionally by offering amendments? Because what she said, without saying it, you didn't go far enough, Democrat legislature, with this gun ban bill. Now, the whole country's been all over her on this. Conservatives are all over her. The DOJ is all over her. The Civil Rights Division is all over her. She knows how everybody outside her lunatic, wacko commie party thinks about it. And what does she do in the face of all of that? Apparently adds more to it to make it even worse. That's the slap in the face, isn't it?
It is a slap in the face. And whether these laws pass as they were defined by the legislature or they're amended by the governor and passed again by the legislature, just the confusion that she's created over the last several days is enough to get a lot of law-abiding citizens to question whether or not they want to own or keep and bear firearms, because it becomes a liability, and that's exactly what they want to have happen. They want you and me to be fearful of exercising our rights, and if we're fearful, then they've won.
All right.
And that's what she wants.
Is your daughter fearful? This is a legit question. Is fearful the right word? Is she afraid to exercise her rights at this point with what's going on in Virginia?
I think every citizen in Virginia, and the ones that I've talked to and the ones that I know, which are some of her friends and some acquaintances that you and I have, Mark, one I'm thinking in particular, sure they are. They're absolutely more fearful, to the point where they're questioning whether or not they want to continue to be Virginia citizens.
Yeah, that's how bad it is.
This is absolute insanity, and I think you know this. I mentioned this the other night. I joined Virginia CDL.
Right.
I enjoyed that group. I gave them some money. We're all Virginians now is the way I'm feeling about this, because, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of nonsense has happened in the blue states in the past, and we did nothing. We said nothing. It's now happening in what I would call very purple Virginia. And this is the game plan that the left has for every single state across the country. And if they can sneak a Spanberger into office, which is what they did here, they brought her in as a moderate, and she's governed like left of Mondami, as far as I'm concerned. This is the game plan, and this is what they'll do. And every time I hear a Democrat say that they are afraid of conservatives or MAGA or Trump taking away their rights and their liberties, and then they pull this nonsense, it's an absolute projection. It's nonsense. These people, I was trying to come up with a different word for this. Mark, when you and I talked earlier today, I was trying to come up with a different word. Anyone that would deprive you of your life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness is evil.
Yeah.
And this is the only way to describe it. It is absolute, pure evil that's being perpetrated on the citizens of Virginia.
You are absolutely correct about that. And I want to make a point. I'm glad you brought up VCDL. It's like you're reading my mind, because I was getting ready to go there next. Let me tell you how important it is to join VCDL right now, ladies and gentlemen. Take what you just heard from Ryan Petty, okay? We've been saying this for quite a while now. We're all Virginians. The fight did not occur during the legislative session in Virginia. They had you pinned. They controlled it. There was no fight. You got throat punched on election night. The fight begins right now. And the Trump DOJ is behind us. Virginia Citizens Defense League, in conjunction, Ryan, you and I both sit on the board at CCR-KBA. We know what SAF is getting ready to do. When I say the cavalry is coming, I see you shaking your head. Absolutely, the cavalry will be there. But it's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to get the responses and the results that we want overnight. We will eventually win, because we're on the right side of this issue. But it is going to take a lot of time and a lot of money. And Virginia Citizens Defense League is going to be the one at the tip of the spear that every single group filing suit against Virginia is going to be working with, because it will be VCDL and their membership as plaintiffs in these lawsuits, ladies and gentlemen. We are all Virginians. Look, how many times have you heard him tell you that Georgia's purple? You don't think for imagine if Stacey Abrams got elected in this state? Stacey Abrams would have made Spanberger look like child's play here in the free state of Georgia. Georgia Carry is not anywhere near. Georgia Carry is a great organization, ga2a.org. They do not carry the weight, ladies and gentlemen, that VCDL has, and that's because of numbers. So I would ask you to please join VCDL right now. We're all Virginians. This is coming to your state, and this is our best opportunity to drop it now and put an end to this. In conjunction with lawsuits that we know, when I say the cavalry's coming, it's coming in the form of lawsuits, and a lot of groups, GOA, NAGR, you're going to have them all. Any group with members in Virginia, guys, and VCDL is at the tip of the spear here, Ryan. 100% at the tip of the spear. It's $25. Join. Put your name on that list because there is power in numbers. Ryan, we've got 10 seconds to let you close it out. Say what you want to close it out, brother.
You know, we've got to stand behind the Virginians at this point. We've got to, you said it well, Mark, we are all Virginians right now. We've got to stand up and make our defense here in Virginia before this nonsense spreads any further.
And that is exactly what they're hoping for, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very rare opportunity here in the face of this tyrannical Democrat regime in Virginia to put a stop to this. The Supreme Court's watching, the DOJ is watching. You can get involved and help so it never, ever, ever affects you. We have the opportunity to put the nail in the coffin here, ladies and gentlemen, metaphorically speaking. Ryan Petty, thank you for being here. You look great on camera, by the way, brother. Just wanted to let you know you sounded awesome. Guys, we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't want us to. We'll likely have more information overnight, and you'll be the first to know. We'll see you on Armed American Radio. Stay safe. See you on the radio tomorrow, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
You just filled your prescription for freedom on Armed American Radio with Mark Walters, the loudest voice in America fighting for gun rights.
Ryan, real quick, let's carry this on for just a couple of moments. I don't want to keep Greg much longer, but we don't have enough. I wish we had 2 to 3 hours to continue to talk about this. But I'm still not yet convinced of a lot of things in Virginia yet. It's really hard to get inside the mind of a Democrat, but let me make this very clear, and I want to get your thoughts on this. They're playing the long game. The fact that Spanberger actually added or wants to amend the assault weapons ban, which is one of the worst we've ever seen, because I'll tell you why, guys. Here's why. Yes, other states have them. Look what's happening in Rhode Island right now, Ryan. Grandfathering isn't going to be enough. Right now, this bill's not going to be enough. Rhode Island politicians, Democrats have already told us, yeah, we have the ban, but too many of our residents have those guns. We didn't go far enough. That's next in Virginia if we don't stop this. Would you agree with that? Do we have him on mic or is he out of queue? Ryan? Greg, can you put him in queue or is it too late? Looks like it might be too late. Okay, guys, I want to apologize. Ryan, I'm going to have to drop you here, but I know you can probably hear me. In the meantime, yeah, we're going to have to let you go. Everything's moving through the network, ladies and gentlemen, and that connection at Opal has already been cut off. So, Ryan, thanks for tuning in, brother. We're going to carry this conversation on tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. You know what time, same bat channel. Stay safe. We'll see you on the radio. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, share, subscribe, support our partners, Blackout Coffee, all of them. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow, guys. Thanks for being here.